Estoy encantado de conocerla.
I'm pleased to meet
Muy
you.
buenas noches.
Good evening.
Yo
I am registered as an independent voter.
En el pasado he votado
In the past,
por el Partido Demócrata.
I have voted for
por el Partido
the Democrats
Republicano.
as well as the Republican Party.
Hoy en día estoy indeciso.
Nowadays, I'm undecided and a bit confused.
I voted Democrat and Republican, but I'm confused right now.
Yeah.
He visto que, por ejemplo,
I have seen that,
usted
for
se ganó
instance,
la candidatura
you earn your
sin,
candidacy without
proceso que normalmente
going
se
through
usa,
the normal
las
process.
primarias,
That is primary
caucus.
elections or through a
Eso me llamó mucho la
caucus.
atención.
That really caught my
Became a
attention.
candidate without going through the primaries or caucus, like it usually happens.
Eso me inclinó un poco para el lado de
That
Trump,
sort of
aunque
inclined
todavía
me
estoy indeciso.
to vote for Trump. However, I'm still undecided.
También me impactó y
Also
fue
impacted
algo
me, and it
muy
was
diferente,
something
cómo
quite
el
different.
presidente Biden,
How President
totalmente
Biden
destituido,
was
me
completely
pareció algo sin precedentes.
destituted. It seems something
Y-
unprecedented.
Sí.
a poco tiempo de las elecciones.
And so close to the
I'm
elections.
right now leaning towards Trump, but I haven't made a decision. I'm also concerned about the way I feel President Biden was pushed aside.
Oh.
Y a poco tiempo de las elecciones.
And so close to
Parece que
the
es una
elections,
circunstancia
I believe
extraordinaria.
these are extraordinary
Extraordinary
circumstances.
given how close we are to the election. So, la pregunta, Mario?
And Mario's question?
The question, Mario.
La pregunta es,
So
¿cómo
the
nos
question
puede
is,
aclarar
how can
todo
you
esto,
clarify
todo este
this
proceso,
whole
y cómo
process
fue usted elegida?
and how you were
Process and
elected?
how you
Sure,
got the
and-
candidacy.
First of all, thank you for being so candid and allowing me to answer the question. Thank you. President Biden made a decision that I think history will show was probably one of the most courageous that a president could make, which is he decided to put country above his personal interest. And he made that decision. He within that same period of time, supported my candidacy and urged me to run. He and I have been partners for the last 4 years as his vice president, to him as the president. And I am honored to have earned the Democratic nomination. I am honored to have the endorsement of people from every walk of life. You will probably find that I probably have a bigger coalition of people who couldn't seem to be more different than each other, who have come together around my candidacy. From 200 Republicans who worked with and for both Presidents Bush, John McCain, Mitt Romney, including Liz Cheney, the former Congresswoman, and her father, the former Vice President, Dick Cheney, who was supporting me. Former members, very esteemed members, including generals of the national security community. I have the endorsement and support of Alberto Gonzalez most recently, who of course was Attorney General. I have the support of people from every background, and I believe this is the reason why. It is incredibly important, and I know you and I can see you are a patriot, that we have the President of the United States who honors the oath that they take to support the Constitution of the United States. There is a huge contrast in this election. Donald Trump has said he will be a dictator on day one. Many people come from backgrounds and countries of origin, and we know what that means when you're talking about someone who wants to be president of the United States and wants to be a dictator, and what that means in terms of taking freedoms from their people. Donald Trump has said he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. I urge you to look at Project 2025, and you will see he will strip the Department of Justice of its independence and put in and hire across the board, instead of career public servants, his people who are his loyalists. Donald Trump said he would, and I'm using a quotation, terminate the Constitution of the United States. Imagine the Constitution of the United States, which guarantees the Fourth Amendment against unreasonable search and seizure by a government on you, the Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment. So I believe that the stakes right now are extraordinarily high, and potentially, some might say, historians have said, unprecedented. And so maybe the whole situation, including your point, is a bit unprecedented. But this is an unusual time where we are literally having a choice as the American people about choosing a path, either that is about rule of law, democracy, or something that is about admiring dictators and autocracy. Did you see the most recent report about the COVID? We talked about COVID. The COVID test? The most recent report, Donald Trump, according to that report, during the height of COVID, I'm sure there are people here who have family members or friends who died. And he secretly shipped off COVID tests to Vladimir Putin of Russia. When people by the hundreds were dying every day. President Biden and I would work on it because disproportionately Latinos and African Americans were dying. So I present that to you, sir, to say this is an extraordinary time. It's an extraordinary time. And what is being presented to the voters of America right now is a real choice and a real difference. So fundamental. This is not about a debate on trickle-down economic theory. It's literally about, do we support a democracy and the Constitution of the United States? Or are we going to go on the path of somebody who is a sore loser and lost the election in 2020 and tried to have a violent mob undo it? A violent mob that attacked the United States Capitol, that injured 140 uniformed law enforcement officers. Some died. To undo the will of the American people in a free and fair election. And I think, frankly, sir, that is why some former Trump supporters are supporting me. I think January 6th for a lot of people was just a bridge too far.